good, TMG fam? It's your boy L. I'm back with another reaction video, man, and highly requested. I'm back with Queen. How you feeling?
Good.
You good?
Good.
You good?
Good.
Got to strap to the seat again. All right, so listen, we back, man, and as per you guys' request, y'all wanted more of these Mr. Nightmare scary stories or whatever, however you want to classify them. So we back with another one. All right, we got 3 disturbing true block party stories. All right, we're gonna be getting into that real quick. Before we do, please make sure you take the time, if you're new to the channel, and hit that subscribe button wherever it is on the screen. All right, wherever it's at on the screen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give your boy a follow on the social media links. All right, with that being said, let's get to one of these stories that's probably gonna make me irk me with some of the decision making that be going on in this. All right, here we go.
I live on Long Island, New York. When I was a kid, our block used to...
All right, all my New Yorkers, y'all pay attention. I know a lot of y'all in the family, so pay attention.
...throw a yearly block party. I had a few friends on the block that were in my grade, Mike and Danny. We would always hang out together at these block parties. My neighbors would go all out. There would be tables of baked goods, catered food. Some neighbors even had tables of alcohol out. Of course, we were like 13. No one was gonna let us drink at that age. It was a Saturday, and people were setting up for the block party early in the day. The street was already closed off. It didn't really pick up until around 3. The 3 of us invited some other friends to come, and most of the day we were just messing around on the blow-up attractions or just eating people's baked goods. Eventually, some of our other friends left, and it got dark, but the party wouldn't end until late at night. Danny and I started joking about how I could beat him at MLB, and while Mike and one of our other friends named Steve were somewhere else on the block, Danny and I decided to take a break from the block party and play each other in MLB. About an hour later, we went back outside to look for Mike and Steve. We ran into Steve, who said Mike went into his house like forever ago and didn't come out. So we walked through the block party down to Mike's house and saw his parents, who told us he went inside. We saw his bedroom light was on and he was standing at his window. We started waving at him to come down. It didn't seem like he even noticed us though. Screaming over the blasting music would be kind of useless. So instead, I said, let's just go inside his house. We walked over to the stoop and tried the door, but it was locked. So we went around back to try the back door. This one was actually unlocked, so we let ourselves in to find Mike and tell him to come back outside. Naturally, we went right up the stairs towards his room. His door was cracked open, and naturally I went to push it open, expecting him to be in there. Instead, there was this tall man standing by the window looking outside, his hands resting on the windowsill. I backed up away from the door, frightened, but more so confused. I knew Mike's family, and I had no idea who this guy was. I backed...
See? Why are you walking in somebody else? Just walking in somebody else.
That's their friend.
Okay. You're just gonna walk, see? You fine with you.
Away from the door and signaled for the other 2 to be quiet. I told them to go downstairs in as quiet a voice as I could. We didn't know if that was one of Mike's relatives or not, but either way, it was rude of us to barge into Mike's house like that.
I didn't say it wasn't rude. I said that was his friend. Cause you, as friends, you never went into your friend's house when you didn't.
Not without asking.
They just seen the parents.
I get what you're saying. You saying they saw the parents. They said
outside.
he's
They
home.
thinking he home,
So they
just
went
in. Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Trying to say you never did that.
If they was like, yo, he's home, and
that's what he said.
I get what you're saying now. I'm just like, yo, see.
I wouldn't have went in, period. I mean, I'm sitting there like, okay, so they don't have cell phones. Like, I text them like, yo, you need to come out.
We didn't want any relatives we didn't know to catch us. We left and went outside back to Mike's parents to ask who the man inside at the window was. They looked up at the window of their son's bedroom, and Mike's mom let out a short scream, followed by his dad running towards the house to unlock the front door. We watched as the man standing at the window turned and disappeared, As we stood there waiting in anticipation,
See?
a crowd started to form, and it became a scene as people were asking what was going on. 5 minutes later, Mike and his dad came outside to the crowd. He had already called the cops. Mike was apparently hiding in his closet after he saw a random man from his room walking up the stairs. The block party was shut down early, and the cops pulled up briefly. They searched the house with Mike's dad, but couldn't find a man anywhere. I remember going home that night scared shitless. And I could
You think? I don't think I'd ever. He couldn't invite me for a sleepover. Like, we having a house party? Nah, I'm good. I'm staying home.
Yeah. Y'all got random people just coming to y'all house and up the stairs, and
I'm good.
like y'all could the whole house could.
Holy smokes.
What's wrong with you?
My chill
You got
bumps.
chill
I'm like,
bumps?
seriously?
Yeah, I lost
I would've
it. My
lost
child's in there, first of all.
Right.
We outside, they're at home, and just a random, I'd have lost my mind. I'd have lost my entire mind.
only imagine at the time how scared Mike must have been.
Then you gotta think. He was watching us, so he saw the kids come toward the house. He didn't move.
Right.
But when he seen the parents, then he turned around and moved. It's like he knew who the parents were or something. You know what I'm saying?
But she screamed too. It said she let out a scream and ran to the house. And the father ran to the house to open the door, so he could have heard the scream as well. But how weird is that? You just out there, there's a block party going on, so I'd imagine it's still like, you know how parties start out as kid friendly, but then as night come, they turn into adult style. So you watching the adults, so you gotta sickly in your mind know that it's done became an adult party, so the kids are aware. So you pedophile.
You're sick.
You're real sick because in your mind you're wanting to go after the kids. So yeah, I'd have lost my mind, bro. Like
I woke up in the middle of the night and my mouth was really dry. So I went downstairs to get some ice water.
It's the same story.
As I shut the fridge, I noticed something through the curtain in the kitchen. There's a light on the side of the house above the kitchen window that stays on all night, and it was exposing some shadow that wasn't usually there, shaped like a person. I knew better than to lift that curtain. I went straight to my parents' room and woke my dad up, who heard about the event that took place earlier down the street. He came down to look, but when we got to the kitchen, the shadow outside the window was gone, which confirmed it was a person. My dad went outside to run around the property real quick.
No. So the shadow was outside.
right.
I run get dad. Dad goes outside to run around the property. Dad, go get the gun. We have plenty. You don't need to go outside. Why did they go outside?
In our mind, honestly, it's not think like, yeah, me, I'm going to get, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that. But you be so pissed. It's like something clicks in your mind sometimes, how you get so upset and you don't think, you automatically go out because you're thinking in your mind, first of all, you watching my house, my family's in here, we're sleeping. Oh, you really trying me at this point. So, and I automatically, we click. Oh, you trying, and I'm out the door after you.
No.
Y'all think, you know what I'm saying? Women think.
You stay in the house. And
Y'all think more logically and responsibly than we do.
Like, why would you run
y'all
out
that.
there? You don't know who else is out there. What the heck is going on? You're running out to that. No, let them come in to you and light them up.
Exactly. How many times have you stopped me from doing something crazy? Because you think...
this just Gatorade, my bad.
You think more logically than I do sometimes. And vice versa. That's why we compliment each other. You know what I'm saying? So, I get it. He ran outside. He probably ain't had no shoes on or nothing. You just that instant, oh, you seriously? You know what I'm saying? You that bold? I'm sleep. My family's here. It's crazy at that point in time. So, you know what I'm saying? I get it.
Okay.
I'm not going to criticize him for that because I get it.
Finding no one. I don't know if he fully took me seriously and believed I saw a shadow, because for some reason he didn't want to call the cops. I like to think I'm pretty sure that was the same man outside the window that night.
And that's where we mess up sometimes, as not taking the children serious.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not taking what they say as, taking it for granted in a sense.
Right.
What were the chances there could be such a coincidence that same night? I slept with one eye open that night. Something very traumatizing happened to me when I was a very little kid. I was like 5 or 6. A nearby street was having a block party, which is basically just where a block is closed off to traffic and all of the neighbors on the street chip in for food and activity.
I never asked you, have you ever been to a block party?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where at? In Miami or Statesboro?
No. Mama didn't play that in Miami.
Nah, Miami.
No.
Jersey was known for them. That's when I really got to experience like a block party where they actually shut the street down. I never did it anywhere in the South. But when I was up north, that's where I mostly got the experience of block parties and seeing somebody shut a whole street down and everybody from the neighborhood be out there, even people not from the neighborhood, and it's just a good time.
Nah.
How we don't see those anymore? Maybe we need to start kicking those back off.
Yeah.
Activities. My older brother, who was like...
Wait. After story 1, I don't know.
Right. See how
I think times have changed.
see how you think logically? See?
We're going to have to pray on that one.
11 or 12 took me with them to this block party. It was a weekend, so our parents were a little more lenient with the curfew. My brother apparently had some friends on this block, and he met up with them, with me following behind him. I remember him introducing me to some of his friends, but I was a really shy kid, so I didn't really say much to them. Most of the night was a blur because it was just so long ago, but somehow I got separated from my brother. At such a young age, I remember panicking that I was lost. I was looking around everywhere for my brother. Eventually, I bumped into some tall old man, and he knelt down and asked me something along the lines of, where was my family? Then he said he didn't recognize me from the street. I told him I was there with my brother, but I lost him. He started acting all concerned and told me to come with him to his house so he could call my parents. I was naive and I followed him, ignoring the words of any parents, don't talk to strangers.
See?
Yeah, I know you'd have lost it on the kids because at no point in time should they have ever separated.
Did they ever say their parents knew they were going over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I remember him saying that in the beginning. Yeah, they knew. He was taking them to the block party.
He lost his brother.
He's separated. You know how kids are. The older brother feel like when they get going off and doing his own thing, don't want little brother tagging along.
Have that same issue right now.
Exactly. So yeah, I can understand this, but we always try to stress to them to, you know what I'm saying, look out for each other, stay together, don't separate from each other just like that. But I kind of figured that was gonna happen listening to the story. You know what I'm saying? But boy, when they would have got home, whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He led me through the crowd as I held his hand, and we got to his house. Once inside, he looked at me and smiled, and asked if I wanted any snacks.
Nah, I'm good.
I nodded my head shyly. He went to his pantry and grabbed a bag of chips. Then he told me to follow him upstairs. He led me to a small bedroom upstairs, and told me to sit on the bed as he pulled up a chair in front of me and just sat down. He told me to eat the chips, but I didn't. I nervously asked him to call my parents, and I believe he said he would in a moment. I honestly can't remember whatever creepy stuff he may have said, but he eventually made his way off the chair and onto the bed next to me, making no signs of trying to make the phone call to my parents. He put his arm around my shoulders.
I don't think I want to hear this. I don't want to hear this one.
Like, ain't no way as a father my son can tell me this happened to him. And hit spacebar button.
And that's when the doorbell rang. And it was the most relieving sound I could have imagined.
Thank you.
He looked at me and told me to wait there. Of course, when the old man got downstairs and opened the front door, I ran downstairs seeking the aid of whoever was at the door, and it happened to be my brother, his friends, and a couple adults.
Thank God. Oh my God. Okay. Because I was like, how do you take advantage of a child like that? And kids are so, like, they're naive. They don't judge people and be like, oh, well, that person looks creepy, or this here is like, no, they just get frantic. Because my kids they love everybody.
That's why they prey on kids, because of the innocence. You know what I'm saying? The kids are so innocent, and if you come off to them as a nice person and you seem to care, then they'll eventually, you know what I'm saying?
That is sick. That is sick. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. All right.
Brother was told by someone that I was seen entering the old man's house earlier. My brother and the adults questioned the old man and I, mostly asking me why he brought me into his house. I gave my best 6-year-old detailed description I could. It probably was enough for everyone to realize what might have been about to go down. One of the adults brought my brother and I to her house, where she called my parents and then the police. My mom and dad were over in a heartbeat, and the cops followed shortly. I asked my mom and dad before writing this what I said that got the cops to arrest the old man. And it was simply that I said the old man lied about calling my parents and started touching me. I didn't ask my parents anything else, because quite frankly, I don't like talking or thinking about it too much. I'm just grateful things worked out the way they did, because I'm sure they were about to go very south.
I commend the parents. I commend them. Because if anybody, all the parents that I know in my neighborhood, if they would have called me like, hey, this is what went down, I would have run over, but I would have had something else with me. And I better hope the cops get there before I do. That's all I got to say. Because I have no qualms sitting in jail for it. I don't care. That's a problem.
My block had a block party in 2017. It was the first and only one ever to date. Our block sits right in front of a small section of...
Notice he said the first and only one ever to date. So this must be the reason.
Woods. So woods connect my and some of my neighbors' yards. During the block party, some of us started getting bored because it was mostly catered to the younger kids of the block. But there was this one creepy, shady guy walking around the block. He had some big can-like thing in his hands, and he kept spouting gibberish to people. Eventually, he came up to my friends and I and started saying the most random shit that honestly wasn't even coherent. We just walked away, assuming he was on drugs. Pretty soon after, 5 of my neighbors and I were down to play a game of manhunt with the field of play ranging from one house...
What is manhunt?
It's like a game people play. I don't remember.
Is it like hide and seek?
Kinda. Something like that, I think. I can't remember. Y'all have to remind us what manhunt is. Because I've heard the kids play it before.
Our kids?
Probably.
Oh.
Probably. Yes. I'm almost sure of it.
I was curious. I was just like, what is manhunt? Me and a couple of the neighbors. I'm like, what the heck is that? Somebody's lost?
It's because of these stories, so you automatically think something terrifying.
I'm serious. It's like I'm already on edge.
Houses across the block party to the woods behind the houses across the street. I was on Jess and Kenny's team. We started in my backyard. The rule was we all had to hide in different places. So I told them I'd hide in the woods and try to sneak my way around the houses through the woods. And I suggested different hiding spots for them. I waited in the woods for a while, expecting to see someone from the other team enter my backyard. Eventually, one of them snuck into the yard, and that's when I thought it was safe to start migrating. As I moved along, I started noticing some paint-like marks on a bunch of trees. They appeared to be big red X's, and in that immediate area, just about every big tree had an X painted on it. I heard screaming from the yard in front of me, meaning someone from the other team was chasing Kenny, so I ducked down and held position for a few. As I was idle in that position, I started hearing footsteps deeper in the woods. Then I heard a spraying-like sound. But the noise stopped before I could even turn around. I realized there was someone standing over there, deeper in the woods. The lights from the nearby houses was just enough to see him. He was looking at me. Apparently he stopped what he was doing when he spotted me. He started walking over to me, and I realized when he got closer that it was that creepy, crazy-seeming dude from earlier. Suddenly, that can in his hand made sense.
Okay. No. What would you have done when you seen him see you?
Yeah.
And like,
kids don't run no more. Like, nobody
What?
leaves no more. Like, why do you stay to just see what's about to happen?
we need to have drills with our kids. You don't freeze.
Yeah, like, what happened to a kid? Be like, oh, he come this way. Gone.
I'm out.
You gone. Like,
Like-
no hesitation, no thoughts, no nothing. I'm out.
You know, he's not a part of the game.
It-
He wasn't in. So, bye.
He's not a part of the
No,
game.
I'm not playing with him. Okay, go.
Yo, there's something wrong with you.
I'm just
When he
saying.
was like 10 feet away, he started speaking. He kept saying, X marks the spot, X marks the spot. I told him to fuck off as I turned and ran back to my backyard. No one was back there anymore, so I ran to find my friends in the block party and told them the game was off and explained what I just witnessed. So all 6 of us together marched back to the woods behind my backyard, and we started looking for him. He was nowhere to be found.
Why?
Curious kids.
What are y'all gonna do?
Curious kids, man. Kids are curious. Yeah, we are. Especially boys.
I'm saying that gotta be a boy thing.
Boy thing. No fear, curious, all that stuff. Always gets us into a situation. You know what I'm saying? Again, I say women think logically. A little girl would have been
Again, I
like,
would be
I'm going
going-
home.
I'm gonna be talking.
I'm
to
going
my
home
son.
to tell my dad. That's what
I'm
a little girl.
seriously like, or I would have ran home and mom.
Because
This is what he does. I would.
Because one of the boys in the group would be like, what, you scared? So then you feel as though you got to prove that you're not scared to the rest of the crew. So it's a male ego thing. And we get it at an early age. And we can
Seriously?
never shake it. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I found, but I did show my friends all the red X's he sprayed on the trees. I showed it to my dad later in the night when the block party was over. He told me there's nothing we could really do about it, and to just get a good night's rest. That night, I had a bad dream. It was about that creepy man from the woods. In this dream, he would just keep chasing me through the woods as I heard his creepy voice saying X marks the spot. Then I would hear him spraying his can of spray paint. And that's when I woke up, in my pitch black room. I looked at the clock, and it was only like 1 or 2 in the morning. Then, on the other side of my window, right above my bed, there was someone talking. My whole body jumped. I looked out the window.
It's good to know he has reflexes now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He didn't, what was those reflexes in the woods? Huh?
Right.
Where was
And
that?
It seemed like your
Listen.
body always wake you up at the right time. You know what I'm saying? When something about to happen.
I don't know if that's the right time. I went back to sleep.
See, you're going to get us killed one day. You're going to get us
He's
killed.
right above his bed, and he said
So
the
wake
window.
up and alert the house, not try to put yourself back
Without letting him know? How can I wasn't supposed to even get up right now.
And there was a big red X painted right in the center of it. And behind that was the crazy man with the can. Though muffled, I heard him saying X marks the spot over and over, and he stood there looking down at me in my bed. Then he started hitting my window with his elbow, clearly trying to break it. I ran to get my dad, who was a huge burly dude. He looked out my window and saw the nut job still hitting the glass, which had yet to crack surprisingly. My dad started yelling taunts at the man, like he better be ready for an ass beating. Then my dad ran out of the room for the front door. I think it worked in scaring that whack job off because he stopped what he was doing and ran away. When my dad got to my window, I pointed him in the right direction and he ran off down the block. He was gone for a while. He didn't come back for like 10 minutes. He couldn't
Another example of
Now
us
you
running.
run away, you've left us home.
Told you we don't be like. I'm just saying it happens.
find the guy, but judging by the size of that crazy man, I know my dad could have pummeled him to the ground, and I wish I saw it happen. The story doesn't end there, however. The reason I decided to tell this story now in 2019 is because just a few days ago, there was a big red X drawn on our front door, as well as a bunch of trees in the woods in our backyard. 2 nights ago, I even heard footsteps passing my bedroom window at some odd hour in the night. We don't have cameras, but my dad is thinking about installing some now. If anything else happens, I will update.
Oh, heck no. No.
X marks the spot. Like, that can mean a number of things. It could be X marks the spot where the dead bodies are buried. X marks the spot where I will bury your dead bodies. X, like, nah, he couldn't have remained in our neighborhood, period. X marks the spot can mean a number of things. And who gonna sleep at night knowing I wouldn't have been, you wouldn't have allowed me to leave the house. Like, I wouldn't even been able to go back to work, period.
No.
Like, yeah, we'd have been joined at the hip.
No.
We'd have had to sell the house if it was up to you. Like, we're moving tomorrow.
And I'm sorry, like, well, what is your reason for selling?
You're not gonna tell the new people?
I mean, certain things you gotta put on disclosure, certain things you don't. But in that industry, you know, people will ask you questions. So
All right, y'all. Crazy stories. 3, there's something wrong with you.
I'm just saying, like, do you actually tell them?
Yes.
You be like, okay, I'm moving because, you know, this crazy person just started making X's on my window and stalking my kids.
So you're gonna be like, nah, we ain't gonna sell a house now.
They're not going to buy it.
We out, man. 3 disturbing true block party stories. Y'all get us in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think, man. And make sure you leave a like, subscribe, give us some more suggestions, and stick around and stay tuned. You crazy. Till the next reaction video, man. We out. Peace. Y'all stay solid. Hey.
What we do here is go back.